Have you ever felt like you're going through the motions of your faith, but your heart just isn't in it? You're praying, you're fasting, you're checking all the boxes, but that deep sense of peace and connection with Allah feels like it's missing. You start to wonder if there's something wrong with you or why your iman feels stagnant despite your efforts. Many of us fall into the trap of thinking that spiritual growth is just about doing more prayers, more reading, more tasks. But here is the reality we often overlook. Your faith won't grow until you learn this. The heart is a vessel, and if the vessel is blocked, no matter how much you pour in, nothing will take root. We focus so much on the outward action of the limbs that we've forgotten the internal state of the heart. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us a fundamental principle of spiritual health. He said, "Truly, in the body there is a morsel of flesh, which if it be whole, all the body is whole, and which if it be diseased, all of the body is diseased. Truly, it is the heart." This isn't just about biology, it's about the spiritual engine of your life. Every act of worship you perform is like water meant to nourish a plant, but your heart is the soil. If the soil is hard like concrete because of hidden pride, constant distraction, or unrepented sins, the water just runs off the surface. You can pour an ocean of worship onto a heart made of stone, and nothing will grow. Think of it like trying to charge a phone with a broken port. You can leave it plugged in all night, that's your effort, but if the connection is blocked, the battery stays at zero. We often spend years plugged into our rituals without checking the connection. We ask, "Why don't I feel my salah?" when the real question should be, "What is currently occupying the space in my heart that belongs to Allah?" When our hearts are filled with the love of status, the fear of people, or the constant noise of the world, there simply isn't any room left for the sweetness of faith to enter. So, how do you actually fix the connection? First, begin with what I call a heart audit. Before you start any act of worship, take just 60 seconds to sit in silence. Ask yourself, who am I standing before, and what is in my heart right now? This brief moment of mindfulness shifts you from a robotic state to an aware state. Second, prioritize quality over quantity. It is better to read 3 verses of the Quran with deep reflection and a softened heart than to read 3 chapters while your mind is on your to-do list. Third, use istighfar, seeking forgiveness, as a daily internal cleanser. Think of it like scrubbing the rust off a mirror. The more you clean it, the more clearly it can reflect the light of Allah's guidance. There is a beautiful lesson in the life of the scholars of the past. It's said that some would spend decades perfecting their intention before they felt they could truly perform a great deed. They understood that a small action done with a pure, present heart is heavier on the scale than a mountain of actions done with a distracted one. I once knew someone who was struggling deeply with their faith, feeling like a hypocrite because they felt nothing during prayer. Instead of adding more voluntary prayers, they decided to stop and focus on just one thing: making their sujood longer and speaking to Allah in their own language during it. They stopped trying to finish the prayer and started trying to inhabit it. That one shift changed their entire spiritual life. Remember, your faith isn't a race to be won, it's a relationship to be nurtured. Right now, I want you to pick one act of worship you do every day. Maybe it's your morning zikr or your next prayer. Before you start, take a deep breath, clear the mud of worldly worries for just a moment, and ask Allah to open your heart. If you felt this spiritual block before, share your experience in the comments or mention one tip that has helped you reconnect. You never know who might find strength in your words. May Allah purify our hearts and allow our faith to grow in ways that transform our lives.